it's Michelle Hill with Southern Inspirations, and welcome to my kitchen on this Friday afternoon, evening. I am making red beans and rice. It's one of Hannah's favorite dishes, and so I am cooking it on a Friday night. And I get asked about my red beans and rice recipe all the time. My family loves it. My husband's filming right now, and so he will see the comments. He's giving me a thumbs up. Did y'all see his thumb? You'll have to tell me if Angela, my sister, comments, because she is always like, cook me some red beans and rice, cook me some red beans and rice. And so I keep telling her she has to come to Arkansas. I'm cooking them. But everybody asks me about them because it's a really good recipe. And I'll tell you a quick story. I have changed the recipe up some over the years, but believe it or not, I was first exposed to cooking red beans and rice this way in Mississippi through a friend that is a Mississippi State fan. And if you know me or you figured out by now, I'm an Ole Miss fan. We are an Ole Miss family. And of course, this was years and years and years ago. It was just a good friend that invited me to go to Starkville. And I had a great time at the game and all of that. But we were at a friend of hers house, and they made red beans and rice, and they kind of did it this way. And so I just think back to that, and I just think it's funny with me being an Ole Miss fan that this whole recipe or way of doing this started in Starkville. So there you go, my friends who are State fans. You can pick on me about that one. But it all starts with bacon. So, you know, you cannot go wrong when you start something out with bacon, right? So I have already fried the bacon, and I've got it sitting over here to the side. And so I'll walk, and here it is. It's ready. And yes, sometimes it gets munched on. How can you not munch on it? What are you doing over there, Brad? Are you pushing all? Are you trying to zoom in and out? I'm like, just don't cut us off. Y'all, it's interesting. I have a mirror on the other side of the phone that I'm kind of looking at from my lipstick, so it's just weird to be on this side and looking at that mirror. But thank you, Brad, for filming. So I've got my bacon fried up, and we use the grease, the drippings from that, but then we also use, at the end, when everything is done, I crumble bacon in, and that's a special touch too, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So my bacon's fried. I reserved, here's my extra bacon drippings, but after I fried it, I reserved a tablespoon or anymore because he keeps giving me all these facial expressions. I like to, it really kind of depends on what onion I have on hand, and bell pepper too if I have that on hand. Sometimes I use a yellow onion, sometimes I use a red, sometimes I use a green onion, sometimes I use a combination. Tonight, for this particular one, what I had on hand was I had part of a red onion, and then I had some yellow onion. So that's what I have in here. So I sauteed that, and then I have two different types of sausage. And again, I switch that up too. Sometimes I use the Cajun sausage, maybe a Cajun and a beef. Tonight I have an andouille and then just a regular pork sausage. So two different types of sausages. I always like the different flavors. So I saute all of that. I like for that sausage to have a little brownness on it instead of cutting it up and putting it directly in my beans. So I've got all that kind of sitting here, okay? And we'll get back to that. Over here, where my beans are, Brady showing them that, thank you. Okay, let me tell them about the beans. Y'all, I use canned beans. And I know a lot of red beans and rice recipes use the dry beans that you soak, and those are wonderful, particularly if you really like that very, very thick red beans and rice. Like there's all these different styles of red beans and rice, but my style is more, since we are such gravy and sauce people in our family, we love all the extra juice and the gravy that goes with the beans to pour on the rice. So I use canned beans. I use this is when you're cooking for, I don't know, 6 or 8 people, probably. For us, there are 4 of us here tonight, and we'll all eat on it tonight, probably a couple servings each. and there will still be some left over. So it makes, you know, a nice little bit for the amounts that I'm going to tell you tonight. So 2 cans of red beans, 2 cans of dark red kidney beans, and 2 cans of light red kidney beans. 1 can of Rotel tomatoes. If you like it really even more spicy, we like it pretty spicy, so sometimes I will go ahead and add a 2nd can of Rotel tomatoes, but tonight I just have the 1 can. So all of that is in what you just saw in my bean mixture, okay? Spices. Tony Chachere's my fave, that's in there. And by the way, when I sauteed my sausage and onions, I also sprinkled some of this in there. And y'all, it is so hard to figure out measurements when all these years I've been just like not really measuring. And I've already put all the seasonings in there tonight, but I did just a good little sprinkle like that. And of course, I'm not doing it again. I have the lids on. Chili powder, shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. It just reminded me of that song, Shake, Shake, Shake. Oh, I'm talking about red beans and rice. Brad is rolling his eyes at me and shaking his head. Let's see here. Oregano, crushed oregano. Just a couple little shakes. Bay leaves. These are kind of small, so I put 4. The larger bay leaves, I probably would have put 3, but my bay leaves. Paprika, a couple little shakes. Cayenne pepper, again, depending on how spicy you like it. Shake, shake, or shake, 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 shake. Let's see here. Basil. This one probably surprised you that I put that in there, but I love the little bit of sweet basil flavor. Just a hair. Shake, shake. And then salt and pepper. And so all my seasonings are in there. Oh, and also I forgot my Worcestershire. I do about 2, maybe 3 dashes of Worcestershire sauce, secret ingredient. And so this has been over here simmering while I was over here working on this, okay? So now we're gonna finish it out together because I want you to see how it all comes together from here, okay? I'm going to go ahead and move this over. And y'all, I take this literally straight out of the pan. I let some of that grease, you don't want it too greasy, but it's got so much flavor in it. And I literally dump it straight in there, okay? That looks so yummy. It's smelling good in here too. Yum, yum. All right. Brad, is Angela on there? Has she jumped on? No? Yeah, she'll come on later and she'll say something. She may say, hey, I'm headed to Arkansas. Or she may say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're cooking those and I'm not there. Just a few more. Oh, and I forgot my garlic. Y'all know, I forgot to tell y'all, the garlic is in there. A couple of cloves of minced garlic is also in there. Y'all know I got to have my garlic. Boom. 1 more. Okay, move that back over there. So then I stir all of that in, and it's still simmering pretty well. All that's in there. Okay, see, it's looking so good and creamy. And then, Brad, need to get right over there. Okay. Then another secret ingredient. It's not secret anymore if I'm telling y'all, is it? I take some beef broth. In my recipe, in my cookbook, I have in there, it calls for a can of beef broth. That's kind of give or take. I always buy these because I use so much beef and chicken broth in my cooking. This is probably a little less than halfway full. And again, I eyeball it. So I didn't use all of that. But it gives it, there's so many wonderful good flavors going on here. You've got the smokiness and just that pure bacon flavor. You've got the flavor of the smoked sausage, the andouille. You've got the Cajun seasonings going on. You've got those earthy seasonings of your bay leaves. And then you've got that hint of basil, only that kind of sweetness that a basil can bring. You've got the earthiness of the oregano. The Worcestershire is just that little bit of just that tart throw in that you need that only a Worcestershire can bring. And then of course you've got your spiciness from your Rotel tomatoes, your chili powder, your paprika. So this is ready. Brad, show them down in here one more time, please. See, it's just got a wonderful consistency to it. Mmm, yummy, yummy. Smelling good. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'll put the lid on and turn it down even just a little bit more on like a low simmer, and I'll let it simmer 30 or 45 minutes, something like that. I'll check it a couple times in between, and at some point I'll do like a taste test of the flavors of the juice to see if I need any more salt, pepper, does it need any more seasoning, just kind of determine, did I put enough garlic, you know, that kind of thing. And then I'll get my rice going and probably my Texas toast. We like to have it with Texas toast or Mexican cornbread sometimes. And then just before I get ready to serve it, and this is just the extra little yummo, I will take about, I don't know, 3 to 4 pieces of bacon over here and crumble it up down in my bean mixture and give it one final stir, and then it is ready. It's ready to go over the rice, and then we usually top it with shredded cheese, jalapenos, hot sauce. Oh, speaking of hot sauce, let's see here. Almost forgot. Glad I said that. I do just a couple of splashes in here. So, boop, boop, boop. Okay, maybe more than a couple. I told y'all we like stuff spicy. Let's stir it up. So again, like I said, in a few minutes, I'll come over here and taste it and kind of see what else we need. So that is it. That's how I do my red beans and rice. I love it because literally it's fairly easy. I mean, you do, you know, have a little labor intensity, a little bit of frying your bacon and cutting your stuff, but essentially it's all together. You don't have to wait for your beans to soak and do all that, which there's nothing wrong with that. But this recipe just works for our family. And as with most red beans and rice recipes, it's so very good the next day and even 2 days later after it has set in the refrigerator and all those seasonings have like come together, and it's just yum. Oh, so there's how I do my red beans and rice. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you are enjoying Southern Inspirations Good Eating. Please feel free to share your own recipes and food pictures and entertaining ideas. Like, comment, share, tell your friends about us. And thank you so much for joining, and have a wonderful weekend. Live life, y'all. Bye.